move forward to a different topic altogether. I'm not even going to try to consider some sort of connection to this. It's Football Manager. And the new game, which, by the way, coming out this year, it's not new. This is just a new version of it, Football Manager 2017, is going to include Brexit. So if you thought when you were sitting back watching this catastrophe, which I will share some minor political thoughts on it, just this catastrophe, yes, take fold, which will see the United Kingdom remove itself from Europe. Didn't you think it was going to affect everything, including your gamesmanship on Football Manager? So the game's going to get harder, and we're going to actually explain it to you why. So this is from the studio head of Football Manager, Miles Jacobson. The first option for the game was to have just one scenario, and that would be it. Brexit done, but it's not possible to come out with one outcome, and it won't be until all the negotiations are done. It continues. As a result, we've decided to go down another route, and we have included every possible outcome in the game, using artificial intelligence and percentage chances to make every game different. So what this means, to kind of put it into layman's terms, is there are going to be requirements that teams are going to have to hit when it comes to this. Work permits will have to be passed in order to get European players that would usually just come in freely. There'll have to be requirements, maybe there's requirements on national stage. Well, I know in Spain you have to have a certain amount of Spanish players on your team to hit a requirement to try and grow the youth. So maybe there's more requirements that are added onto that. It basically just means that the game is going to just be already one of the most difficult games to play. I really enjoyed it when I used to play it when I was younger. Still an enjoyable game. It's going to be a little bit harder. Well, coaching is going to be more of a headache.
Here's the most amazing part. It's already an extremely difficult game.
Yes.
It's like Flight Simulator. Mm-hmm. And then they said the Flight Simulator, okay, now you have to do it blindfolded. Like, have
now
fun.
You're not allowed to.
Try landing the plane. And if anybody's played Flight Simulator, really fun game too. So here, by the way, is some more information about the Brexit and what the three, Francis, here's the three scenarios. Number one, a soft Brexit. Free movement of workers remains. Number two scenario could be footballers are granted the same special exemptions that are currently given to entertainers. This means it's easier for them to obtain work permits than other people and will not have a huge impact on player movement from the EU. And three, a hard Brexit. Similar rules to those which currently apply to non-EU players and are adopted for all non-UK players. The only other quote I have, which is not an element we have in general, but I thought it was really funny, rockpapershotgun.com, which is a gaming website, Adam Smith, wrote this morning, California time. Football Manager, official site listed here, is not a political game. I recall being extremely surprised when the 2022 World Cup was relocated to Argentina from Qatar in my first playthrough of last year's edition. Given reports about the bidding process and the feasibility of hosting the tournament there, as well as more troubling stories, I wondered what the reasons for the move were in the fictional future of the game. Turns out it simply might be a case of Sports Interactive not wanting to rewrite the calendar for a Winter World Cup.
So it's a smart game.
You boot the game up and they're like, oh, turns out Qatar's been the... So you're telling me in FIFA, the game... You can actually get it moved, I think, if you can glitch it correctly, so they can make it so it just seems like 2022 is 2018, so both World Cups are in Russia, which was totally unfair, but sure, better than Qatar. And Football Manager, upon booting it up, you're like, all right, let's go start my career. You know, I'd put on your suit and tie. You do that because you're a manager, and you look like a manager in your everyday life. And just like day one, you have your inbox, which, by the way, I think is like the funniest thing. It's like a nicer inbox layout than most companies have.
Yeah, it's good. It's
and
really
it says,
detailed.
Brexit, England, Wales, and Northern Ireland just leave the European Union, and we've moved the World Cup to Argentina.
And Scotland.
Managers would be in a crisis if this much information happened in the same day.
Yeah, the thing about this game is it just seems that it's more intelligent than everyday negotiations. So moving the World Cup makes sense, and it's actually putting forward scenarios that are going to happen. So as to go back to the quote you had, I actually just recently interviewed a very big British political correspondent and author Owen Jones.
Mr. Jones.
And what it is yes, the soft Brexit is just bullshit. It's like, what was the point in voting for it anyway? Because you just still you're still in the single market. You can still trade, negotiate. Everything's going to be the same. You're just not part of the European Union. So what was the whole point? The borders and everything that you're preventing doesn't really change anyway. And then the hard Brexit is literally, as he called it, the chaotic Brexit, where it's just like free for all. What the hell is going to happen? And then all of a sudden you will see everything be affected by it. It will be a butterfly effect, and it will eventually land on your Football Manager deck.
Snowball effect.
So snowball butterfly effect.
The snowball butterfly. If you went back and threw a snowball at a butterfly, and killed that butterfly
worst.
with said snowball.
The worst philosophical discussion.
Geometrically wrong at all angles.
Yeah, so if you're playing the game, look out for this scenario. It's going to make it a little bit harder, but nonetheless, the game, this is just my thoughts on the game. What I used to enjoy more so was not going Manchester United and signing everyone under the sun. What I did enjoy is when I was in the game, yes, I'll throw that in there, way back in, I believe, the 2008 or 9 version, I think it was still Championship Manager, signing myself for Barcelona, putting myself in the starting 11 and watching me fall flat in my face in amidst some of the best players in the world. So do that, if you please. Create yourself and put it in there.
To wrap up this snowball butterfly geometrically wrong philosophical argument, the same guy, Miles Jacobson, had 10 incontrovertible truths anyone has ever played who has played Football Manager. Number 9 I found to be the most interesting one ever. You have known about Leo Messi years before friends ever did. There are far too many examples to go into all of them of all the players who were superstars in Football Manager before they made it to those actual heights in real life.
Yeah.
I'm reading
Wonder Kids.
I'm reading directly from Jacobson and the Telegraph. But perhaps the best story concerns Alec McLeish, whose son, a keen Football Manager player, told him to sign a then little-known 16-year-old Argentine by the name of Leo Messi for, get it, Francis, the Glasgow Rangers.
And did he listen?
McLeish laughed and patted his son on the head. Whatever happened
Alex
to Messi,
McLeish, get it up, That's hilarious. That is hilarious. They were called Wonder Kids, by the way, just to let you know.
Wonder Kids.
That's what used to be their description, and you always signed the Wonder Kids.
Always signed the Wonder Kids. I wonder what would happen if those didn't exist in a butterfly effect situation.